South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio. I'm Jeff Parles. 3 of us on the desk today. Alex White, Kenny White. Good morning, guys.
Hey.
Yeah, there we go.
Jeff, good morning.
The 3 of us combined for only one less three-pointer than Gonzaga and St. Mary's did last night.
They didn't make they made
only,
one
it was
three?
1 for 31 between the two of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a great, when I saw the score, I said, I knew that was going to go under.
Yeah.
They both play such great defense.
Yeah, both teams went over 50% from 2, but 1 for 31 from 3.
Unbelievable.
Very, very strange game.
How was the crowd?
99% Gonzaga.
Was
Oh
it?
my gosh.
So-
There's usually that one small section that has 200 fans from St.
It's
Mary's.
exactly what it was. Let's get into it real quick. There's a game in Nashville that I want to get to real quick because there's a big move in the game. Arkansas, South Carolina, tipping in moments, so you'll have another moment to get a bet in. 4.5 and 5 now in Arkansas. It was 1.5 early yesterday. And Kenny, this has been a huge, huge mover on the Hogs here this morning and last night.
Yeah, and I said yesterday I saw 1.5 was the line I saw. Never got to betting after the show. I tried to, and by the time I got to it, it was already up to 4, and now more money for Arkansas. This is the kind of game that contrarians love. They're going to jump all over South Carolina +5 in this game. I have no play. I made it 4.5, and I would have laid the short price, but nothing for me, Jeff.
Well, and Arkansas is on that bubble spot, right? So they need every win they can get in this SEC tournament. So the embarrassment factor of South Carolina beating them just 2 games ago, and then, of course, Arkansas playing desperate. So I can definitely understand the move. Now at this number, though, I don't want to jump in.
Time for me to check what number I got on the first half under in this game. 65 is the number I got. That's basically what the market is as we're about to go. Took that under. ACC first half unders have been great so far, but as Alex and I talked about before the show, the ACC not good. We'll get to them a little bit later, but we'll take a shot here on the early morning. Again, it's a noon in Nashville. You can have a noon could really feel like 5 a.m. there in Nashville very easily. Not for the players, but for maybe for some in attendance.
And I like
there
that
on
the
Broadway.
two teams that are better defensively than they are on the offensive end. So,
The one question mark is, we talked about this with Arkansas, they play fast.
Yes.
Even though they're defense
Yeah.
first, they
Yeah.
play fast. So that's the only thing that could get in the way on that one. All right, we'll keep it with the SEC, and then we'll start going through rotation number fully. Let's go Texas and Vanderbilt. Texas needs this game. If they win this game, I don't know if they're on the right side of the bubble, but they're closer. If they lose, they're probably done after their loss to Oklahoma over the weekend. Vanderbilt safely in the NCAA tournament. really not much of a home court advantage, even though it's just down the road from Memorial Gymnasium at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. But 2.5 in this game. There's some 3 in the market. Total 148.5 on this intriguing 12-13 matchup in the SEC.
This was a tough one for me. I don't really know what to do with Rodney Terry's team. I don't feel like Texas really has an identity. They're pretty much good at everything, but not great at anything. Vandy, we know that they are better on the offensive side. They want to play fast here. They've already beaten Texas once, 86-78. And Texas 3-7 down the stretch. So that makes me nervous. Even though they are the more desperate team, I would lean that way with taking the points, but I do feel like it'll be more of a home for Vandy. I'm just going to pass on this one.
Yeah, I have Vandy won in the game, and I think you just mentioned, Alex, they only played once in Vanderbilt, 88-78. So I lean to Texas, but no real play. I'd lean to the under. I'm close to having a play on the under, but when I look at my sheet, a lot of blue. Both these teams do like to play up tempo a little bit, and they both do have very, very good offenses. Solid defensively, but just, I'm going to pass. My numbers are just too close.
Checks out to me. I'm going to stay put. Nothing to do here. In game. I want to see how Texas looks more so than anything. Vandy's well on their way easily in the tournament at this point. Texas probably would as much as anyone to play for in Nashville this week. Mississippi State and LSU, the 10 versus the 15. Winner gets Missouri tomorrow evening in Nashville. 9 now on Mississippi State with a total of 145.5 on this one, Alex.
So Mississippi did win the only game, 81-69. LSU better defensively than they are offensively. This game should be right there. They're both playing about the same pace. I think that number is right. Maybe a lean to the under, but no strong play for me in this game, especially Mississippi State. Their trend is 18-12 to the over, so that keeps me off of that total as well.
I like it under. Just by numbers alone, I like it under in these big type of games. So I've got a 7-point difference on the total. Sidewise, I'm right there. I made Mississippi State 7 and have no play on the side. But yeah, my total under definitely.
Moving along, next game, final game of the day in Nashville. Another big one with a bubble bursting potential. Oklahoma is a 3.5-point underdog against Georgia. Bulldogs are safe. OU, I would say probably on the right side at the moment, but with a win, probably good at this rate to get themselves into the big dance, Kenny.
Yeah, that's, I even think if Georgia can't be comfortable here, just the fact that their 8-10 conference record. So I think they would have to get at least one win. They may be in, but one win would definitely put them in, so they feel much more comfortable. I made Georgia 2, so I've really no difference in the line right now, 3.5 here at the South Point. I have the total of 143.5, another game that I lean to the under. Oklahoma will play fast, but Georgia's defense, I think, is what helps keep this game under, and Georgia has been the under team, 18-12 under this year.
I assume Georgia would be a popular play today, winning 4 in a row coming into this conference tournament. And I'm going to wait and see if that line moves even more. If I can get 4 or 4.5 with the Sooners, I will jump in here. I like how they're playing down the stretch as well. And I think that so much attention has been on the Bulldogs. But the Sooners, I mean, they are 3-2 in their last 5 games after going on a rough stretch. But they had a tough schedule: Auburn, Tennessee, Missouri. Could have won that LSU game, Florida, and then found a way to get 3 at the end here. So I'd go with the Sooners in the desperation spot, getting 4 or more.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Alex. It would be a take, especially at 4 on OU. They're the more desperate team right now. Lenardi does his bracket every day. Finally, took him till conference weeks to do it. Georgia right now, if you're just looking at where they would be placed, according to Lenardi's a 9, so pretty safe, all things considered. Oklahoma's in Dayton at the moment, so one of the last teams in to the field, according to Joe Lenardi. Of course, not end-all, be-all, but at least a little bit of a guiding tool. And, of course, the SEC tournament, 16 teams, the high-end teams, all the teams fighting for a number 1 seed potentially go on Friday in this league. All right, to the A-10 we go. Right now, actually one game in D.C. going. Richmond and Davidson all tied up at 57 with 6.5 minutes to go. So Richmond closed 5.5-point underdogs in that game behind us. So in the ball game right now for the Spiders in that 12-13 matchup. We now go to Fordham and Rhode Island. This is the 10 and the 15. Fordham, the final seed in this tournament. 4.5 with the Rams in this one with a total of 155.5, Alex.
I think that number is right here at 4.5. I do think Rhode Island should be the favorite in this one. They did split in the regular season, so Fordham knows how to play this team, but they did win by just one. It's going to take a lot for them here. They are outmatched. Rhode Island definitely far better on the offensive side and can score some points. So Pats for me again in this one.
Yeah, my numbers are really close, both side and total. I looked at that last game that they just played. Was the last game of the year. There was 78 pace. It was a 19-point win by Rhode Island. Rhode Island does love to run, and Fordham will go up tempo. I feel like when you get games this close back-to-back, they kind of pace-wise, they match up. The final score doesn't have to match up, but I think the pace stays the same. We could get an extremely high-paced game here. And both teams have trended over. Fordham 18-11 over, Rhode Island 18-10 over.
155.5 is that total for this game. So you need a lot, but again, if you're getting 78 possessions, it doesn't take too much at a 78 possession to get in the 160s on that. All right, LaSalle and UMass up next. This is the 11-14 matchup. Minutemen, 2.5-point favorites against the Explorers here with a total of 145, Alex.
I hate to go against you, Dad, but I really don't like this LaSalle team. I've kind of been fading them down the stretch here, and they have lost quite a few games in a row until they finally beat St. Joseph's coming into this. So maybe they're playing with some confidence, but I can't make a case to lay that with UMass, but I don't want to make a case for this dog. They are the worst offense in the league, second worst defense in conference play. So nothing for me in this one. It's a pass. I guess you could give LaSalle the revenge factor, though. They did lose both.
Love LaSalle. Jeff tipped us off a couple weeks ago. This is Fran Dunphy's last season. He has been a legend in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. His team got up for that last game and finally played a good basketball game. I think they take that momentum into this game, and I think another big key is UMass lost their best player, Daniel Rivera, 2 games ago. He is out for the season. He's got a knee injury. Their second best player and their big guy in the middle, Malik A., he missed the last couple of games. He may miss this game as well. They're down 2 starters from a horrible basketball team. Frank Martin's done a terrible job with this team. I just can't see. These are 2 teams going in opposite directions. UMass went 1-6 down the stretch. And without Rivera's a 6'6", 215-pound kid that is a top 50 shot blocker. He's their rim protector, and now they lose a 6'10 center. They have no size inside. This will be a game that LaSalle actually wins the points in the paint. I think they're the better team, and you're giving me points. With a team who's playing for their coach. This could be his last game. And when you're a team and a coach, you don't want this to be the last game. They're going to cry when they finally lose, but this may not be the day they lose.
I gotta very happily not bet this game, guys. I'll let you guys have the two-way action on this one.
Two-way action.
There we go, Vinny. There we go. But I'm gonna very happily stay off of this game because.
Well, Alex didn't know that UMass had 2 starters out.
I did not. That was a very compelling case.
Who would bet a team with 2 starters out?
But I will say this, though. Again, you're dealing with 2 bad teams to begin with. So,
and you're asking a bad team to cover 2.5.
I'm just staying out completely. I'll find a different game. Plenty of action here today. All right, to the ACC we go, which has looked a lot like JV ball so far in that conference tournament. Game going right now. Georgia Tech leads Virginia 30-28. Yellow Jackets closed 1-point favorites. First half went well under the low total in that one. So we'll skip ahead to game 2, which is North Carolina and Notre Dame. Notre Dame survives a questionable, that's being nice, foul call on Pitt with half a second to go. Hands Notre Dame 2 free throws. They go 1-2. They win by 1. They advance. The upset on the betting markets, not on the seed for that one yesterday. Now they take on UNC. We know the deal for Carolina. Carolina's got to go as far as humanly possible to give themselves the best chance to make the tournament. A loss today or tomorrow against Wake Forest probably ends their chances. They got to at least get to the semifinal on Friday night and get a third crack at Duke. This is a big line here today, guys. 10.5 now, up from the opener of 8 at some shops, with a total of 145.5, Alex.
And it is sad for them, because if they would have been playing against Pitt and they got that win, that could have been a quad 1 win. But now with Notre Dame, you're right. They have to get this win and the next win for the Tar Heels. I'm still waiting for this team to really click. I do think they have a lot of talent. So I can make a case for Notre Dame taking double digits here, but I'm also concerned that North Carolina could just run away with this. I will say, though, it's probably going to benefit any team that did play yesterday, because it was terrible shooting at the Spectrum Center. And that Notre Dame Pitt game, 8 for 42. Cal and Virginia Tech, 8 for 51. And then Syracuse and Florida State, 4 for 24. So it was rough from behind the arch. So I think Notre Dame may have a better shooting night in this one. But nothing for me. I can make a case for the double-digit points.
I'm betting the game under, and I would take double-digit points. Is it? I didn't realize it was that high. That's. I think that's way too high. I mentioned yesterday North Carolina is one of the top teams that have slowed their pace down over a second per possession since January 1st. That's huge. That's almost 6-7 possessions a game. So they are not playing anywhere as fast as they used to. I wish Notre Dame could play a little better defense. It would make this a much easier under. Now, the coach's son, Micah Shrewsbury, has been out for the last 5 or 6 games. He is their best three-point shooter for Notre Dame. So without the best three-point shooter, Notre Dame plays slow. North Carolina is not playing as fast. A big game that both teams need to win. I bet under.
Again, like you said, Kenny, the pace for Carolina, very different if you're going off of what they were non-con versus conference play. It's a totally different handicap now. I'm with you. I'd only take the points, actually. I'd look at the 10.5. Just a matter, can Notre Dame get enough stops?
Yeah.
Like you said, if they can get enough stops, this should be a single-digit game. And again, I'm just not certain North Carolina is capable of running anyone out of the building on a neutral, even though, let's be real with ourselves, neutral in Charlotte here with North Carolina.
They're also off of the Duke game where they were in it the entire way to the last 10 minutes. That's a game that you're giving 100% of your energy in. And sometimes it's hard to bring that 100% back the next game, especially against a team you've already beaten at their place. So,
well, not only that, like you said, Kenny, they were in that game. They were leading that game with 11 minutes to go and didn't even, again, not that the players care, but didn't cover any numbers.
Right.
Lost by 13 in a game they were leading with 11 minutes to go, in a game where Cooper Flagg did not play much because of foul trouble either. So let's see what we get out of North Carolina. Again, good for them. They get to play in Charlotte, so there will be a lot of Carolina blue, obviously, in the stands for that one. Known ACC rivalry, Stanford and Cal up next. Yes. We get the California teams playing each other here in round 2. Cal won in double overtime. Really just a horrendous beat for the total if you had it yesterday. You just needed the game to finish in the first overtime, and he still would have been good. 6 with this one now, with Stanford favored with a total of 138.5 on this California battle in North Carolina, Alex.
Let's see if we can convince Jeff to jump in here with us. I like Cal plus the points here. Let's keep riding them. We liked them yesterday in that win. I told you about the awful shooting. I think that they will have a regression to the mean here in this game. Not a great three-point shooting team, but usually closer to 32%. Also, Blackshear struggled, gave them just 7 points. He did have 10 rebounds in that one, but I think we'll see a better effort out of him in this one as well. I think that's it. Do we have revenge in this one?
There is, yeah.
Double revenge.
Yeah, Stanford won both.
Stanford won both. So we got to give them add that into the equation as well. So I will definitely be on Cal and the points here.
Yeah, well, salt in the wound, Jeff, for that double overtime loss. Thanks. Easy under.
Easiest of the whole day, no less.
You're under 140.5, and it's 60-60, and going to overtime. You still got a shot, and it goes to double overtime. That's the only negative against Cal. They just did play a double overtime game. They did win though, so this is a team that's playing with a little momentum, and this is the rivalry. This is the the Silicon Valley championship game basically now, because it doesn't matter who won the first two games. If Cal wins, they win the series, even though they lost two games, because they're going to be the team that goes further. So it's that rivalry game that throw all the stats out. I only have Stanford 2 points better in my power ratings, and I feel like that really solid ratings on both teams. All the players are playing. Cal has covered more games this year, 17 and 12 ATS. Stanford's 14 and 16. They've underachieved a little bit. So Mark Madsen's in his second year. This will be Kyle Smith's first season in postseason with Stanford. I just think all the check marks go to Cal, except for they had to play double overtime yesterday.
They did play an overtime game on Saturday as well against Notre Dame, but little time to recover in between there.
Yeah.
I am going to see if I can get a little more with Cal, if any, before I do anything. I just, like you said, Kenny, just how much is left in the tank, hey, even though it is a rivalry game. How much is left in the tank after playing an extra 10, and it was a high, exhausting extra 10 against Virginia Tech?
They are in their early 20s, though. It's basketball, and we saw Delaware just play 5 games in a row, and I guarantee you California's in better shape than Delaware, the players. I guarantee you that. So I do worry about that late in games that they could lose, when they start to lose that that feeling that you are strong. But this is such a big game. I just can't believe the numbers this high. And people are betting on Stanford. That's what's shocking me, too.
Next up, SMU and Syracuse. These two teams played in Dallas not too long ago, and Syracuse actually had a big lead at halftime and managed to blow the game outright. SMU won, but did not come close to covering. Yesterday was actually as good of a performance that you can see out of Syracuse, which is kind of just telling what this program has become. I wish I was getting double figures. If I was getting double figures, I would take it with the Cuse. 9, it's close, but 9.5, 10, I'll probably be on the orange here. It's all been SMU action so far in this game, Alex.
I agree with you. That was a very good game we saw from them against Florida State yesterday. Out-rebounded them 42-32. They were 24 for 45 from the field. But SMU, the ACC is pretty split, and SMU is in that top 5. So I do worry that it will be a big challenge for them in this one, but I'm definitely trying to make a case for the dog here.
I just still can't believe that Adrian Autry's defense is as bad as it is, and a Syracuse program that it was built on that matchup zone that was always a top 25 defense, and he comes in and changes things around. And I can't believe he still has a job. If I'm the AD and I come in, all right, you're going to change things? Well, it better get better. We're a top 25 team. I don't know why you want to change things. So I don't really trust them. I did bet them yesterday, and then I told you, Jeff, when you gave me the information about Leonard for Florida State, I thought maybe I should get off it. I forgot all about it, never did. So luckily I won that bet. So I guess I'm free rolling with Syracuse again. I took 8.5 this morning. I didn't think about Autry till just now, and sometimes I just think of that. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. It's already the wheel. Don't try to get fancy, and I think that's what Adrian Autry is trying to do when you see how bad this defense is. If he improved it, I would say, hey, this guy's a heck of a coach. But since it got worse, this guy's a guy that doesn't have much experience. Andy Enfield's a really good head coach. He's only in his first year at SMU, but he knows how to coach basketball. We've seen him take Dunk City to the NCAA tournament, and then he had his chances with USC, and I think he did a decent job there, just not a great job. It's not a basketball school. It's a football school, and that's sometimes part of the challenge.
9 right now on this one with a total of 149.5 here behind us. Colorado, West Virginia will get in the second in the Big 12. They have reached halftime in Cincinnati and Iowa State, a 9-point cushion, 33-24 for Iowa State at the break. Cyclones an under in the first half if you had that bet. To the 16 seed that won yesterday in a game where it was kind of strange that game was actually as close as one, and it kind of felt like Colorado was controlling the majority of that game. Now they get West Virginia, 16 versus 8 here in this one. Mountaineers up to 7 in this one with a total of 129.5, Alex.
I'll take the 7 here. I already bet it with Colorado. I'm going to ride with them again. It's kind of one of those situations where they finished the season 3-17 in Big 12 play, but it's a fresh new season here. So I like them to keep this game close. Also, West Virginia won in Boulder in the regular season, so give them a bit of extra motivation there in this one. So I think 7 is too many points. So give me the Buffaloes.
Yeah, again, good coaching. Tad Boyle's a really good head coach. I think he does a really good job. He had a great year last year and just a lot of turnover, but I just looked at my sheet and I didn't bet it yet, but I love the game under. You just mentioned the score of Cincinnati and Iowa State, and I wanted to bet that under, but I couldn't make the number low enough, and I just look at my sheet and how good those defenses are for Cincinnati and Iowa State. But the next game below that, Colorado and West Virginia, the game we're talking about, both of these teams play really good defense, especially West Virginia. I think the total is just far too high. It doesn't matter what the regular season games were. Cincinnati and Iowa State was 81-70, 151, and you have a low-scoring game. This was 78-70 in Colorado. Revenge factor, I like the Buffaloes, and I like under in the game. I think I like under more, though.
I think I'm with you on that under. We know West Virginia wants to grind these games to an absolute halt. And right now, some offshores are taking this down to 128.5, including one book here in town. Superbook's got 128.5. So 129.5 might be the best of it, at least for the time being, on the total with Colorado and West Virginia. Second game up in Kansas City. Third game in KC today. K-State. Really just a nice controlling win yesterday against Arizona State. They take on Baylor. We've talked about the Bears, very talented, underachievers this year, though. Still probably going to make the tournament, but going to be a much lower seed than expected. 5.5 in this one, 137 the total, down from 6.5, and that total's bounced a little bit, Alex.
Really saw a good performance from Coleman Hawkins for Kansas State. Really good overall, though. Got a lot of points from the other guys as well. Jones 10 and Hassan 10 as well. So I like the way this team is playing. I think that it's going to benefit them having a game under their belt. Of course, Arizona State is far below Baylor and their talent, so it's going to be a tough one down to the end. But I think you're getting some value here, getting 5.5 with K-State.
Yeah, I like K-State. You know what? I think a little better continuity. Baylor's problem the entire year was injuries to new players that came in. Jeremy Roach comes in from Duke, senior point guard. I guess he's more of a shooting guard. And then Langston Love, another really good player. Those guys have been banged up all year, and now their center, I won't even try to pronounce his last name because I can't even see it, but Josh O, he's been out. And I think that's a problem. They haven't had a consistent starting five all year, and Roach and Love are not playing anywhere near their level right now. So if all those guys were 100%, yes, it'd be a really good Baylor team. They're just not. So I'll take Kansas State once again plus the points.
5.5 the number on the Purple Cats in this one against Baylor. 137 the total. Gets the beginning of the nightcap in Kansas City. And in the final game, late night by Power and Light, is Kansas and Central Florida. Central Florida, after really early in that game, looked very sluggish, really turned it on and pummeled Utah. A nice, comfortable 15-point win that was never really in danger as a small dog last night. Now they get Kansas. The two meetings between these teams, both of them featured plus 75 possessions, 77 in the first one, 76 in the second one. That first one in Orlando, Kansas won 99-48. Yep. So a very fluky, awful offensive performance by Central Florida. The second game was 91-87. 153.5 is the total in this game. 10.5 is the number. This will play as a Central Florida road game, as he usually does in Kansas City for this tournament when you play Kansas, unless if you're Kansas State or Iowa State. I kind of like the over in this game just because of how ridiculous the pace was in the first two games, and there's no reason to think this will not be another ridiculously fast-paced game yet again. So I would lean to the over at 153.5, Alex.
And even taking 5 off of the total from making it, I'm still there at 159. So that is a nice difference there. And I mean, Kansas, we know that they do want to play fast, and UCF even faster. They're definitely going to try and control this pace and run up and down the court. Struggle on the defensive side as well. So I think Kansas can definitely. I just worry with a double-digit spread like this if Kansas gets too far away from them. I do think Kansas should be about 8 in this spot. 10.5 is stretching it a little far, especially if we give some revenge to UCF. But I mean, kind of like North Carolina, we know that Kansas is capable of covering these spreads. It's just a matter if all the right things are clicking. So I passed on this one.
Yeah, it's very important to know the proximity of these games and how many fans travel. As you talked about yesterday, Kentucky's going to be the most populated crowd in Nashville. Kansas's crowd will be massive here in this game. They'll make the hour drive. That's all it is. They're all going to be there. So it's a Kansas home game, and it's worth 5 points. So I'm not betting the side because of that, but I am taking the game over. I agree with Jeff. I looked at that first game and saw that embarrassment, 99-48 at home. When you get blown out like that, you're focused and ready for the next one, and they were. They went to Lawrence and lost by 4, 91-87.
They were leading most of that game, too.
So they know what they have to do, and Kansas may take them a little lightly again, and that's what we need because Kansas's defense has been great this year. But Central Florida's been my over team. I cashed with them yesterday with Utah over. I'm right back with you, Jeff, over 153.5.
Yeah, and Central Florida wants a run, and again, probably. Assuming there's no miracle in KC, I would be surprised if Johnny Dawkins is around after a 14th place finish in Orlando this year in the Big 12 for the Knights. Again, winner of this one will get Arizona tomorrow night. Tomorrow is as good of a basketball day as there is with these 4 matchups, especially if chalk prevails in these 4 games. Going to be loaded up tomorrow in Kansas City for what is always a fun time there in KC. All right. In a conference tournament that's just starting down the road from us here today, the Mountain West gets going with 3 games here tonight at Thomas and Mack. If we look at the Mountain West bracket, New Mexico looking for the daily double, the regular season and the postseason. They're the betting favorites behind us here at the South Point at 2-1. The 2 seed, Colorado State, is at plus 350. The 3 seed Utah State at 4-1. The 4-5 matchup, which Boise State's playing for the Tournament of Lives, and San Diego State's playing for a little more relaxing selection Sunday in that game. They're both plus 550, and then Nevada and UNLV are 20-1, but I wouldn't go further down the board than the top 5. 3 games in action here today, but guys, is there anything, at least in that futures market, that potentially stands out to you?
Not to make.
I do like that Colorado State. You said plus 350. I think it's gone down though.
They bet them, yeah.
Yeah, you could get higher at 4-1. But I mean, looking at the bracket and how that broke, I mean, that's a pretty nice side over there. Utah State, they will have to probably face. But looking at the other side, I mean, we got SDSU, Boise State, one taking out the other, and then them having to go against New Mexico. So for a team that finished 16-4 in conference, I mean, they could really use winning this to make sure that they make it into the big dance.
Colorado State, I think, has to win this tournament or at least make the final and beat Utah State by margin to be in. A Boise loss in round 1 coupled with a Texas loss later today would help Colorado State for certain. But you want to take it out of the committee's hands, just win the darn thing. I picked Colorado State in the pool I'm in, but I wish I was getting about 5-1.
Yeah.
I really wish I was getting a little bit of a better price. I get why it came in a little bit lower, though. They have won 7 in a row and 8 out of 9. So they're playing some awesome basketball right now there in Fort Collins.
What a great conference this has been this year. I mean, they're one of the top conferences in college basketball because of the top. If you were to take out Fresno State and Air Force and had people calculate how good the conference is, it may be the 3rd best conference in college basketball. But the couple of bottom teams, Fresno and Air Force, do bring it down a little bit.
Well, we'll talk about those 2 teams in a second. The first matchup, I have no idea what the heck to do with this first game, which I actually thought San Jose State was going to come the smaller favorite. Instead, Wyoming's the small favorite here, guys. 135.5. Alex, what do you think here? I thought maybe wrong team favored, but I do kind of like Wyoming to just win the game here.
I do too, especially for all three of these games. We're getting the double revenge. So Wyoming lost both games to San Jose State, and they've been playing competitive. So I do think that 1 point is correct. There's no value, I don't think, either way. And I think that total falls just right as well. So I'm not going to bet this one either. I think side and total are both fair.
Yeah, with the revenge factor, I do lean to Wyoming, but I like the game under. Both these teams just play so slow, and it's a low possession game. I wish they played a little better defense, especially San Jose, but I'll take my chances with it just because the pace and how big the game is. I think it'll be tight throughout.
135.5 for the first one up at Thomas and Mack, and now we get to the two teams that have been bringing down this league this year. Fresno takes on Nevada. We've talked about Nevada a lot on this show. Just talent has not matched the record. 13 here, Kenny, on this one with a total of 139. Second game up on the board at Thomas and Mack here tonight.
Yeah, my numbers say I'm probably supposed to take Fresno State. I just still question Vance Wahlberg if he's a head coach or not. You know, some guys are meant to be assistants, some guys are meant to be head coaches. So they have covered spreads, though. They are 17-10 ATS this year. And again, new season. They just didn't play up to my power rating on the season. And you're right. There's been a lot of inconsistency with the Wolfpack, with Steve Alford this year. His team hasn't played up to their capability. So with a revenge factor, losing both games in the regular season, I do only make the game 8.5. So I should be taking 13 with Fresno. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but I probably will.
Definitely a coaching mismatch. I think Steve Alford's a very good coach here for the Wolfpack. Just kind of struggled with injuries, like another team we're going to get to. But so nothing for me. I'm going to pass on that one.
Kenny, I'm trying to find the angle to take Fresno here. This feels like a ton of points, but I kind of feel like if I do that, I'm going to look up and it's going to be 27-6, like 5 minutes into the game with Nevada. So I'm going to stay off of this. I know we're betting numbers, not teams, but boy, these bottom teams in the Mountain West, it's hard to even find an angle on the two of them. And here's the other one. Air Force will take on UNLV. Rebels playing much better basketball of late. Again, defense first team with the Rebs. 12.5. It is a home game technically at Thomas and Mack, even though we know, well, at least against Air Force, will play as a home game. Once the other teams start coming in and feel it is a neutral, even with UNLV involved. 130. I kind of like the under here, even at this low number. Air Force is going to really score more than 55 points in this game. That they probably have to get to 60 for you to have a shot to get over. So I kind of like this under here, Alex.
And it does help you out. UNLV has dealt with so many injuries as well. We know DJ Thomas is not playing in this one. And then just in their last game, they were playing very good against New Mexico. Julian Rishon got hurt as well, who is one of their three-point shooters. So I think all signs lead to the under, especially UNLV's defense has been playing outstanding, especially since losing their point guard. They're still trying to work some other guards in there with bringing the ball down. So, yep, I love this under 130. UNLV did win both, so I almost even lean to taking the points. Can Air Force keep this game close?
Under. When you're talking about, Thomas and Rishwan, their two best offensive players out, and the three starters that are left, Henley, Cherry, and Hill, are their three top defensive players. These are all three really good defensive players. And the team's identity over the last 3 weeks, since February 8th, has been their defense. They allowed 57, 52, 51, 61, 71 as San Jose when they probably had a bigger lead, 55, 67. This defense is playing outstanding. And they don't lose any defense. They got their best defensive players in the lineup. This is going to be a defensive game. I could see this game being played in the 50s. So, I already went under 130.
I think we're in a 3 for 3. No two-way action on the desk here in this one with UNLV and Air Force, the late night cap here in Las Vegas. All right, we go to Indy next. Big Ten gets underway And this is actually a pretty reasonable card for the play-in games. But we look at the bracket first, with Michigan State looking to do the daily double here in this tournament. They are the 1 seed here. Maryland getting the 2, Michigan the 3. UCLA got the double bye because Purdue lost to Illinois, and then Wisconsin inexplicably got destroyed in the second half by Penn State on the final day of the regular season. But I will tell you this. I'm going to make a case for something totally ridiculous here real quick. I took a piece of Rutgers at 200 to 1 to win this tournament. Now, it's 200 to 1. You're not supposed to win 200 to 1 bets. They have top 5 players in the NBA draft coming up. They've been a monster underachiever this year in Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, of course, the 2 guys that I'm talking about. But you have a path here where if you get by tonight, which, by the way, we'll get to that game. Rutgers is an underdog here tonight, which I don't know if I agree with. But you get Purdue. Purdue smacked them around pretty good last time, revenge factor. Michigan either wins by less than 4 or loses by double digits. Maryland gets KO'd by Illinois. Look, even if you get to the semifinals of this, you're going to have plenty of hedging opportunities. So I took a small piece of Rutgers at 200 to 1. If it's not the ridiculous long shot, I do like the Terrapins, who have been bet pretty nicely here at the South Point. Open 9 to 2, now 3 to 1. Maryland playing great ball, and as we've talked about, Alex, unbelievable talent inside, led by Mr. Queen.
I'm not going to lie, I like both of those bets a lot, especially Maryland on the right side of that bracket. Will have to most likely face Michigan State in the championship if they make it through, but I do think they are the best team on that side. And then Rutgers, I mean, I can't fault you for that. Won't those guys kind of be playing for their NBA stock as well? So might see a big performance out of them.
This is the closest we've had to the Fab Five in a long time. They have the Fab Four. They start 4 freshmen, and that's a good reason why they've been inconsistent most of the year. But I like Steve Pickles, the head coach at Piquel. I think that you're right, Jeff. This is probably an underrated basketball team, and I think they can win this game. They just beat USC. It was at home 95-85, but again, they just fought. They fight again. The same team probably wins the game.
We'll see how well these play out. We'll get to this game in a second. It's USC 1, but we'll start with Northwestern and Minnesota. I don't know what happened with the release of the rotation numbers on these games, but an accidental Northeastern
Northeastern instead of Northwestern.
An accidental Northeastern, but it's Northwestern, of course. They're 3 as the lower seed against Minnesota, and total 128.5. Can we get low enough on this total? Actually, that's really the big question here. You can find a 129 at Circa still. I would go under the biggest number under the biggest number you can find on this game with Northwestern and Minnesota, Alex.
I absolutely love it under. That is one of my favorite plays of the day. Both teams are better on the defensive side. Both teams want to play really slow. That first game, 75-63. I imagine we'll have an even lower scoring game here in this tournament. Minnesota's trends work out well, 18-13 to the under. Now Northwestern is a little bit scary, 20-9 to the over, but that makes me like it even more because trends are made to even out eventually. So Northwestern 8-1 to the over on the road, but they're going to have to play some really good defense here in this one against Minnesota. So under for me. And get the best number, 129.
Yeah, I agree with you. Minnesota has been one of my better under teams all year. The pace they play, their defense is better, as you mentioned. And, Northwestern lost their best player, Brooks Barnhizer, 3-4 weeks ago. He's been out, and now, Jalen Leach. I think he missed a couple games. He's missed more than that now, 7 or 8 games. So Northwestern has been playing without 2 of their better players. They're still a good team. They're still well coached by Chris Collins. The pace is going to be extremely slow, and the lack of firepower on offense is a good reason to bet this game under.
Going to Iowa and Ohio State next. Of course, Hawkeyes saved their best performance of the regular season for the last game. They put it on Nebraska, KOing the Huskers from not only NCAA tournament consideration, more likely than not, they knocked them out of the Big Ten tournament completely. So credit to Iowa for showing up there. This is the best number you can get on the Hawkeyes right here at the South Point of 5.5. Total 154.5. We know the Hawkeyes want to run in this game, Alex.
Yeah, they haven't been that profitable taking their overs, though, so I'm going to stay off of it. Just 16 and 15 to the over on the year. Pretty even there. Ohio State as well. Ohio State's kind of one of those bubble teams that needs every win they can get to try and make their case for the big dance. So I'm not going to jump in on the dog here, even though we did see a very good performance from them against Nebraska. So nothing for me. I'm passing.
The total, I think, it's tough because Iowa does, want to play very, very fast. They just have not played well. I think they won their last game of the year. It was a game that I laid off of. I was supposed to bet Iowa, and I said, they just haven't played well without Owen Freeman in the lineup. And then they finally come up with a really good game, and they beat Nebraska. The game didn't go over, and you're not going to get Ohio State running. They don't run. That's just not in their DNA. They're gonna set up their offense, run their offense, and we just don't have great defense. My numbers are right there. Again, my numbers are telling me to bet Iowa, and I don't know if I can trust them after sitting out the last one, so I'm just going to sit this one out as well.
Staying out completely on this game. I want to see how everybody looks. This might be a good in-game game as well on Ohio State and Iowa. And then I may have tipped my hand in the last game. Rutgers, a 1-point underdog against USC. I like the Scarlet Knights. I think the wrong team is favored in this game. That total, though, is interesting at 153. I know that there should be pace in this game, but I kind of would look to the under in this one. Play a little more tournament-y style here, but I do like the Scarlet Knights getting a point. If you find even on the money line, I would just take that instead of the one on the Knights here, Alex.
I definitely think the Rutgers is the better team here. USC 1-6 down the stretch. Rutgers did win the first game, like you mentioned, 95-85. So I think they know what to do and how to, what style to play here. I just worry with you, like you said, young team, freshmen, all coming into this first conference game. So no play for me, but lean to Rutgers.
Well, the Kells team has run this year. They've been a top 100 team in pace. USC Eric Musselman, his dad invented up-tempo basketball, so I can't see how he would be anything less than a fast-paced coach. They haven't shown it on offense. They've shown it on defense, so they must be pressuring on defense to force that tempo, and they've been an over machine. 21-8 his team has been this year. 7-1 over in road games. I'm gonna, I think the trends and everything, my number says it's right there, but I really got a feeling that as long as those freshmen shoot well for Rutgers, and I think they will, they're talented, they're experienced kids, they're no longer freshmen, that this is going to be an up-tempo game. I'm going to bet Rutgers, and I'm betting the game over.
Real quick, one question for the chat. Robert asking if there's any value on Illinois in the futures market, 7-1. The current number here, I would say at that number, absolutely not.
Yeah,
because they're going to be not going to be that big of a favorite against Illinois. They're going to be a dog the rest of the way in the bottom of the bracket, unless if we get Rutgers or USC through, which again I did take that future, but I need to be getting double digits to look at Illinois personally on my end.
I think Oregon's a better team than Illinois right now, the way they're playing. So, yeah, there's so many teams in front of you. 7-1 is not a good number. I think if you did a rollover parlay and you like Illinois, you're going to probably get closer to 15-1.
By the way, Ducks are 25-1 to win this conference right now. So big discrepancy in that price for sure. All right, let's go to New York next. Big East underway here today. Real quick in the futures market, St. John's right now plus 160 to win the conference. UConn at 3-1 the 3 seed, Marquette 4-1 the 2 seed, Creighton 4-1 the 2 seed, Marquette the 5 seed 6-1, Xavier 8-1, Butler is 14-1, and then everyone else's prices that I would not even consider, even though they're all very long. Mentioned Villanova at 14 there as well. I should say, not Butler. Villanova is the 14. Butler's 80. Everyone else is over 100-1. This feels like St. John's tournament more so than anything. I know that I can tell you right now, there'll be plenty of people betting UConn against St. John's in that final. I don't know if that's right or not, but feels like the Johnny's tournament to me. I would just go chalk in a futures market. But you're going to get a better price rolling it over semifinal, final, more likely than not, than plus 160.
Depending how many points I'm getting in that UConn St. John's. You know I love the double
of
revenge,
course.
so I'll probably be on that as well. But it does. I mean, St. John's is playing such good basketball. Just, oh my gosh, 2 losses since December 31st. So, yeah, I feel like it is their bracket.
They just play such great defense. This is a good defensive team, and they'll be playing home the entire tournament. So it will be fun matchup to see if we do get Connecticut and St. John's, because the Huskies will travel well, the fans will, and there may not be a home advantage in that game. It may be pretty close to a 50-50 fan base game. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that game. But I think you're right, Jeff. There's the only 2 teams I think you could look at. Creighton has moved up, and they are starting to play better basketball, and they do have a lot of talent, and they are well coached. So I guess they are a team that could pull an upset.
Mm-hmm.
Creighton, again, the 2 in this conference. We go to the games today. Butler to 9, favored against the 8 Providence. Providence a lead balloon right now. 1.5 with Butler in this game with a total of 147.5. I don't think Butler is a big enough favorite in this game with the way Providence has been playing. I mean, look at the last few times out for the Friars. He haven't won since February 15th. Since the calendar turned to February, that only win was on February the 15th against Villanova. You have a 1-point loss mixed in there against Butler. The home team won both. But I like the Bulldogs in this game. I think they should actually be a bigger favorite. Providence has dealt with injuries all years, and they did not handle it particularly well, Alex.
The only way I would play this game is over. And you're right, Providence 1-9 in their last 10 games. Butler on a 4-game losing streak coming into this tournament as well. So, I mean, they've both really struggled defensively, and we can expect them both to give up at least 73 points here. So if they're making their shots, I mean, they both trend to the over. Butler is 18-12 and Providence 16-12 to the over. So yeah, that's the way I would play it. Even though we're trying to find more unders, this would be an over I like.
First time they played was pretty high scoring, 82-81. My numbers are right there. Made Butler 2.5. Lean to that side, but just not enough big enough difference for me to bet it. If it was a regular season game, I would definitely be going over 147.5, but it's not. It's a must-win game. Winner moves on, loser goes home and turns their uniforms in. So that's a little more pressure-packed. You get slower possessions at the end of games as well. So I'll stay off.
Going to DePaul and Georgetown. DePaul swept Georgetown this year, including beating him on Saturday by 6. So, Alex, you get your double revenge spot here for the Hoyas, including a back-to-back with DePaul, 4 and 4.5 out there on this one with a total of 144.5.
I wish it was a lower number there, too. I do think Georgetown should be a 4-point favorite, giving them a little bit more here for that double revenge. Are we trusting Ed Cooley in this one to cover that number?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to bet Ed Cooley here. I think he's got the better team, and when you've lost both games in the regular season, you get fired. I think his team was most likely taking DePaul lightly. They played St. John's in a tough game, really close battle at St. John's, and then they had to. They played DePaul with Villanova on deck, kind of a sandwich game to start the year. And then at the end of the year, they beat Villanova. They come off a run of Creighton, Connecticut, Marquette, and Villanova. And I just think they let up. They remember what happened to them last. I think they come out early and often. Remember, I talked about the Providence game, that he'd never beaten Providence. His mom just passed away. The players, they were only a short favorite like this, and they won by 21. They crushed Providence because they're a better team. They're a better team than DePaul. I think they do the same thing here. They get out often and early.
Going to the next game in the Big East, looking at the nightcap, Seton Hall and Villanova. 10.5 on this one with a total of 126.5, Alex.
No, thank you. I'm going to pass on this one. Given Seton Hall the double revenge, Nova won both, but Villanova's the far better basketball team here, so I can't even make a case for the double digits with Seton Hall.
Villanova's been inconsistent all year. Shaheen Holloway has shown in his career he's been a good postseason coach. He gets his teams to play, and they play playoff basketball during the entire year. Slow down pace, play defense. They just can't score. Can they score enough to stay in it? The bookmaker did a really good job on the total, and then the bettors bet it under. I wish it wasn't as low as it is. I would, love to bet this game under, but I can't. And I think they did a nice job on the side, even with my, adjustment for that revenge of losing both games. I still only have it 9.5, so I have no play in this game. I would love to have the dog and under, but I guess I would probably need 12.5, and I'll go under 130. So the numbers aren't even close for me.
It probably would be Seton Hall team total under. Could be a look here, depending on where that number, but that number could be obscenely low in a 126 as an 11-point underdog at Madison Square Garden here tonight. All right, we go to Atlantic City here. Quick hitters with the top two teams in the MAC with 2 A's in action. Ryder with an upset on the betting number a day ago, beating Siena. Now they'll take on Quinnipiac, 8-141 in this one. Bobcats of QU favored, Alex.
Difference of styles here in this one. Ryder wants to slow it down. Quinnipiac wants to run in this game. So I lean to the over with the favorite kind of dictating the pace. They did win both games. One at Ryder, 72-67, and then they won at home, 75-64. Really, it's just an average of 8, though, so you're getting that 8.5. How much does Ryder have left in the tank? I lean to the dog, lean to the over, but I'm going to stay off of the over, definitely.
I cashed with Ryder yesterday, and I'm going to be right back on him today. I was really surprised how high this line was. This Ryder team is playing good. Kevin Baggett's a really good basketball coach, and his team started the year 4-11, and they are 14-8 now. So that makes them 10-7 over the last 17. They're just playing far better basketball than their overall appearance. I'm really shocked that this is that high. And you said it, Alex, 2 different paces. Ryder will control this pace. Quinnipiac wants to run. They will not be allowed to run in this game. And they're both bad scoring teams. So I think it's going to be a close game down to the wire.
The other matchup here in this one here in the AC here, Merrimack, the 2 seed, 3.5-point favorites against Sacred Heart, 135.5. I don't think Merrimack's a big enough favorite in this game. The only concern, as always, when you're dealing with laying with points with this Merrimack team is they want to grind you to a halt. Anything over a basket can be a little bit tricky, but I don't think they're a big enough favorite in this game against Sacred Heart, who handled their in-state rival Fairfield pretty easily yesterday.
I think that number's just right. And if you look at the 2 regular season games, I mean, they were only 1-point games, both of them winning each one at home. So, yeah, I expect a closer game here, and especially, like you said, lower total. Merrimack controlling that pace, really slow pace. So I would lean to the dog. Sacred Heart keeping it close.
I lose with Sacred Heart over yesterday, and they had a really good first half, too. The second half just slowed down, and Jeff, brings up the point that Merrimack wants to play at a slow pace. They play really good defense, and they strangle you, and that's the predominant factor, I think, that controls games. When you can slow the game down and you can play defense, that's what makes up the total. So my number a lot higher, but I'm not betting it over, that's for sure. I'm going to pass and watch this one.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to reset. We got some more college hoops when we get back. And also, we'll have whiteboards as well when we get back. Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
We're back in. It's Sports by the Book. Let's keep it rolling. We go to the Conference USA games here today. UTEP and Liberty. UTEP snapped their losing streak with a win last night against Sam Houston State. Now they get the number 1 seed in this league, and we know how Liberty wants to play. Efficient offense with a slow tempo in this one. 7.5, the current number. With the Flames, the favorite in this one, the 1 seed against the Miners, with a total of 135.5 and 136 here at the South Point, Alex.
I sound like a broken record, but I do think you could make a case for the dog here taking the points. UTEP lost 7 down the stretch. Then they beat Sam Houston State. It's kind of a reset again for them. New season. Now they get another shot at Liberty, who they did beat early in the season, 72-70. So they're going to have confidence coming into this one. They're going to know that they have a shot to be in it. So I think that the only way I would play it is taking the points.
I'm right there. I made the game 8, and looking at the total, I made 139. So a little lean to the over, but I don't like it over. That's for sure. Because as you mentioned, Liberty slow down, Liberty solid defense. I'll just pass.
Stay out of this as well. Surprised UTEP won yesterday, but they really controlled that game against Sam Houston yesterday. And in the other game later, FIU came from behind in a big shocker over Western Kentucky yesterday. And now they get to play Jacksonville State, who has really turned it on of late. 7.5 with the Gamecocks of JSU in this one with a total of 132, Alex.
I'm right there on that number, 7.5. Jacksonville State did win both. You can give FIU a little bit of the revenge. I'm not so confident in them, though, staying close and covering this one. So pass for me.
That game that I found yesterday with, FIU, both teams playing fast, Western Kentucky, but that wasn't the case. Over the last month and a half, 2 months, they've both slowed their tempo. And again, when you look at this game, Jacksonville State already plays slow, and they're a solid defensive team. Florida International, just a bad offensive club. So I'm going to go right back in again, and I'm going to go under that 132.
Under 132. I think I kind of agree with you on that, Kenny. It's just a matter with FAU. I'm stunned FIU won that game yesterday against a Western Kentucky team that ended up being a monster disappointment this year. But I would only look at the under with you on that. One quick question from the chat. Robert asks, does Kennesaw State have a chance to win this league? They're 10-1 in the futures market over at the Superbook. They did beat Liberty and Jacksonville State the last 2 games of the regular season. So I'm not going to say they're totally no chance, but I think the price kind of tells you how hard their path is if they're 10-1 going into this. So it'll be an uphill battle. Maybe just take some points against Liberty if they beat New Mexico State in tomorrow's game, Alex.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is a little more open than we're giving it credit for. So, I mean, if one of them gets upset, it would make that run a little bit easier there, being Liberty or Jacksonville State. But yeah, I would just go game by game, to be honest.
I do think if it's not one of the top 2, the winner of that Middle Tennessee La Tech game, probably the better look if you're looking at the not top 2 seeds. And Middle Tennessee's the second favorite on the board anyway, as it is. All right, games at the Orleans, just down the road from us. Utah Tech, Utah Valley. Utah Tech won the road game, the home game as the road team yesterday with a dominant second half over Southern Utah. Now it's another Utah battle here. Utah Valley, 13.5. Big number here on this one, Alex, with a total of 143.
I took it. I'm taking the 13.5 with Utah Tech, see if they can roll over from their win yesterday. Playing with confidence. The one thing this team does have is they are a good three-point shooting team. They were 10 for 19 yesterday. So I like them to try and keep this game close. Utah Valley did win both, 96-80, and then they did win in overtime, though, the second game, 79-70. So Utah Tech knows they can keep this game close. They've got their first win in conference tournament play, so I think they're going to be playing with confidence.
I wish they didn't have to travel and played a rival, too, to boot. So they did play a big game. Maybe it's hopefully a confidence builder for them. I do lean to Utah Tech, but I passed. I'm just going to pass on the side end total.
Just St. George to here.
Yeah, I know. It's still going to travel, though. You know, if you played at the Orleans yesterday, you don't even get in a car. You just go back to your hotel room. It's just
go in the elevator.
Just go in the elevator. That's it. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
I thought you said these kids were only 20.
They are.
Oh, okay.
They are. But it's still stuff they got to think about.
UT Arlington, Grand Canyon, the other one. Grand Canyon, the betting favorite in this league, the defending champions. 8.5. 145.5. I think these are right on the number here, Alex. What do you think?
I did make this total a lot higher, so I lean to the over here. Both the first two games were very high scoring. UT Arlington is much better offensively. And then even though Grand Canyon's strength is their defense, I think that they can definitely put up a lot of points here against Arlington, who struggles defensively. So I lean to the over, but again, we're kind of passing on our overs here today.
Yeah, I think you would need a blowout to get there because you're right. The tempo will be there, but that Grand Canyon defense is so good that I'll pass. My number's right on.
Now we go down the road the other direction from us to Henderson. Big West gets underway here today. We've talked about this league a lot because UC San Diego has been one of the better stories in college basketball this year. Superbook with the numbers on this. San Diego, UC San Diego, the Tritons, -160. Irvine at +205. And everybody else is a monster price here in this league. And I think properly so with how much better 1 and 2 are than everyone else. If you want to make an argument for Irvine at over $2, you can. I don't think there'll be a $2 underdog against CUC San Diego in the final. So I think that's the only argument that you could make. With that said, I expect the Tritons to run on through and win this tournament and get the auto bid after the regular season championship.
I have a 10-point difference from the
That
first
is a big difference.
to the second.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for any other team. You're still probably about there, yeah?
Yep. I didn't look it up, but I know that they have had a year to remember in the Big West. They may be one of the best Big West teams ever to play in that conference.
Right now, UC San Diego with a conference tournament win will be 30-4 entering the Big Dance. Pretty darn good year.
But they still have to win this tournament or you think they're safely in?
Unfortunately, yeah, I do think they need to win it. Just committee loves finding ways to keep the little guy out, and their best win is at Utah State. So if they had swept the Mountain West teams and won at Viejas to open the year, maybe, but I don't think they're getting that large as good as I think they are. The two games tonight, we start with Bakersfield and Santa Barbara. The first game at Lee's Family Forum. UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, 5.5-point favorites with a total of 142 in this one, Alex.
I've got that number right there. Santa Barbara actually 4, so a little bit of a lean to the dog here. Taking 5 points off my total, so I fall right there at 142. So unfortunately, I have nothing in this first game.
I can't give you anything either, Jeff. My numbers are right there, 4 and 144. So nothing for me.
Yeah, steer clear of this one. And then 6-7, UC Davis, Cal Poly. Hey, Cal Poly back in this tournament again. 1.5 with Cal Poly, the Mustangs, favored in this one with a total of 151.5.
I do like Cal Poly. I think that is a cheap price for them to get this win. I did not check revenge on these two. Do we know what happened?
Cal Poly, go ahead, Kenny.
Yep. UC Davis won both games.
All right, so even more of a reason there to lay that 1.5.
I absolutely love Cal Poly. This is my favorite bet of the day. Whenever I got a team that I think's the better team, and they have the motivation of losing both games in the regular season, and you only really have to win the basketball game. So yeah, let's go Cal Poly.
Get some title. Go ahead, Alex.
I was going to ask your thoughts because you have been covering. You've been doing a lot of Thursday shows. Have all of their games.
I think the number's fine. It would only be a look to Cal Poly, but I was really kind of hoping this game would come pick, in all honesty. But it'd be a look to Cal Poly only on this one. All right, let's get some title games before we get out of here. Big Sky title game first. You got chalk in Starch Madness in Boise, and this is a good game here tonight. Both Northern Colorado and Montana just blew the doors off their opponents yesterday. The Bears of UNC, 2.5-point favorites against the Grizz, 147. Very curious on this. 40 kid was looking to take Montana in this one. What do you guys think on this one at 2.5 with UNC?
I might be alone on this one. I like Northern Colorado. I am alone. I'm
definitely alone on North Carolina.
I like Northern Colorado a lot in this one, laying the 2.5. So these two both beat each other on their own home court. I'm giving Northern Colorado some home revenge there because they were the last one to lose that game. Montana won 86-78. Northern Colorado is playing their best basketball right now. Last 6 games, their median that they have won by is 18.5. So I trust them to get this win here and to cover that small number of 2.5.
They've been the better team all year, so I agree with you. I'll be on Northern Colorado tonight. Again, Steve Smiley.
We're 3 for 3 on this one. I don't think this number is big enough. I really don't. This is a Northern Colorado team that is much better than Montana. And Montana's a good team, but Northern Colorado is just the better basketball team. And they are an elite offensive team, and I expect them to win tonight, and I expect them to honestly win comfortably. So I'm very happily. I thought this was going to be closer to 5, and it's 2.5. I guess it shouldn't have been closer to 5 because Montana State, who's much worse than both of these teams, came 5.5 yesterday. So, like Northern Colorado, for sure, in this one, 3 for 3 on the desk.
Yeah, we've got at least 3 squad plays with that one. We've got an over, because I'm jumping in with you guys, UCF and Kansas.
Oh, boy.
And then there was one under that we all liked, I believe.
Well,
Did you like the UNLV?
We'll get that in the board in a few moments here on that. Southland title game. This is just the McNeese Invitational now, more so than anything. McNeese wins and covers against Northwestern State yesterday. Lamar and Nichols played a really tight game. Cardinals pulled it out by 3. 13.5. Excuse me, now 13. It was 13.5 earlier on this one. Is there an argument to take the points of Lamar on this game, guys? That's the only thing I could even think of. McNeese is going to win. It's just a matter of what the margin ends up being here.
I agree with that, definitely. I mean, maybe a little bit, but once you're getting into the double digits, we'd probably like a nice 5-point difference here with these two. You liked Lamar yesterday, so that's a good one by you.
Scares me because McNeese has been the Southland's top team by far. This is Will Wade. He improved this program last year. Everybody knew coming back that everybody in Louisiana was hoping that this could be a top 25 team. He doesn't have that quite a talent, though, but they're the best team in this conference by far. My numbers do say I'm supposed to take Lamar in this spot, but it does scare me because McNeese can just do it on both ends. They're really good offensively and they're great defensively for this conference. Lamar's really good defensively too, so maybe I might lean to the under here.
The 2 matchups in the regular season, McNeese won by 11 and then only by 2 on Lamar's home court. So Lamar has been within a number both times against McNeese on this season. All right, last one of the college hoops slate. Patriot League final, Navy and American U. Navy with 2 upsets to begin this tournament. They wanted Boston U, and they wanted the 1 seed Bucknell on Sunday afternoon. American, 1 did not cover in game 1, and then they dominated the second half, winning by double digits against Colgate and covering with ease in the semifinal. Eagles are 4 in this one with a total of 131.5, Alex.
I think that number is just right. Both of these teams pretty much dead even with their trends covering. Navy 16-15 on the year and American 16-14. Looking at their road or neutral, though, Navy 11-5 ATS. So they have been winning you money if you've been taking the points here with them. I stayed off of this, though, but lean to Navy taking the points.
My numbers made American 2, so I do lean to Navy, just not quite enough. Remember, there's only 2 games today that it is a true home court, and that's this one and the UNLV game. My total I adjusted down to 131.5, so it's right on the total. So just a lean to Navy for me.
I have an American future going into this game. I'm not touching it. I think America wins. Navy, a little bit better than the record has shown all year. They have good guard play, but I do like AU. And Bender Arena, shout out Bender Arena in the northwest portion of D.C., going to be rocking there tonight. But I do like American to win, but I'm not playing anything. My 3-1 future, a lot better than any price I could possibly get on this game, at least pre-flop. All right, let's take a short break. When we get back, we'll have the boards, the white boards. When we get back, along with the trivia answer, right here, Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Here we go. Whiteboard plays for this Wednesday, March 12th. Need a bounce back spot after that overtime loss for my under yesterday. So we're going with Cal against Stanford, taking the 6 points here. Back on Colorado against West Virginia, +7. And then I'm taking a chance here with Utah Tech against one of the best teams, Utah Valley, but we're getting 13.5. I also bet these straight bets, but I do have some totals today. I'm going to do a round robin, 3 away. We've got Colorado and West Virginia under 129.5, UCF and Kansas over 153.5, Air Force and UNLV under 130, and Northwestern Minnesota under 129.
I guess I'm playing the role of Kenny White here since Kenny had to step out for the final moments here. So you go right to the board. 5 plays for Kenny. He's on Cal Poly. He's on Cal. The lighting does not like Colorado, so he's on Auto +7. That's the Buffs. Ryder +8, and then he's on under UNC and North Carolina under 145. Notre Dame, North Carolina under 145. Ryder +8. Colorado +7. Cal +6.5, and Cal Poly -1.5 for Kenny White. I don't know why the lighting does not like that Colorado number. That was very interesting there.
I'm very superstitious, Jeff. I don't like you telling me that.
Sorry.
Does that mean it's a bad play? No.
I don't know.
We like
All right,
Buffalo.
before we get out of here, trivia. The JR Invitational was not the JR Invitational today. Can you name the only power conference team that's never won an NCAA tournament game? They're 0-8 all time. Alex, do you have a guess?
Yes, I do. Nebraska.
There we go. Right on the money. Cornhuskers. 0-8. Never won it. Never won a game. Nick's got it. So he's on the board for the third time. They've never won an NCAA tournament game, and they will not be winning one this year. So that streak will continue for yet another year. All right. That's what we got for you. Jerry, Sean, Ryan, thank you as always. Alex, good luck. Kenny, wherever you may be, good luck. We'll see you again tomorrow. You and I back 10 a.m. A lot of games. As good of a day as there is in college hoops tomorrow on those Thursday all day long. College hoops all day. And we'll talk about it all right here on Sports by the Book, as always live from the South Point studio.